Richard Krause.
Your philosophy on the whole rating system?
It was the title they kept saying from the get-go was always in jeopardy. I was like, no, it's not. W.C. Fields made a movie called The Bank Dick in the 20s. And they're like, yeah, but he didn't have to advertise on TV. So they were saying that it was going to be problematic. And while we were shooting, they did this, I think it was like third week. They did this thing. It was kind of cool, a due diligence move. They called up all the networks and every place that they were going to intend to buy some advertising for this movie when it came out. And said, hey, we got a movie called A Couple of Dicks. It's a cop movie. It's about Tracy Morgan, Bruce Willis. You guys can give us a hard time advertising it like you did with Zack and Miri. Because that's why they went off of it. They were just like, we saw what you dealt with on Zack and Miri Make a Porno. We don't believe in that kind of thing. So we're going to make sure our title's going to fly. And so every TV station network came back, said yes, with the exception of ABC, CBS, and NBC, the three fucking diamond jewels in the crown, whatever they call them, the top dogs. And they said they wouldn't run an ad before 9 o'clock p.m. So, old Kevin Smith, 23-year-old Kevin Smith, was like, fuck him! I'm going to die with dicks in my hand, which would have sounded really, really awesome. But 38-year-old Kevin Smith, 39 at this point, who watched Zack and Miri not reach as far as it could have because the title hamstrung it, because networks wouldn't run ads, because all of a sudden they started running TV spots that just simply said Zack and Miri and shit, because it was such a fucking confusing campaign with no faces on the posters in the U.S., just little stick figures. I was like Chief Brody in Jaws 2, dude. I was just like, I've seen a shark before, and you better do something about this one because I ain't going through that hell again. So these cats were like, look, they're not like let's get fancy, let's trick the public or TV. Studio's like, we're a corporate entity, man. Like, here's the body politic of the movie. If there's a cancer in there, we're going to cut it out completely. And so they're like, this title is a fucking cancer on the body of the movie. So you can go down with it, or we can have everybody who worked on this movie let their work be seen and have people enjoy the movie. And if it had been any other year, if I hadn't gone through Zack and Miri the year before, I'd have been like, fuck them. It's dicks or nothing. They'll bend to our will. And $30 million worth of people would have went to see the movie, and that's about it. Cop Out gives it a chance to reach out, man. And that is never more true than this weekend, than the weekend. Not this weekend. There's some. I'm not a football guy, but there's some sports going on, as there always are in the United States on the weekend. Two big football games, not last weekend, the weekend before. Does anybody know what they are? Something like that. Something's happening in the world of football where everybody's excited in the States again. So anyway, we had two spots during those games. And I'm on Twitter while it's happening because I don't fucking watch football and shit. I'm fucking around on Twitter talking about eating my wife's asshole or something. All of a sudden, a slew of fucking posts pop up of people going like, oh my God, I saw a funny version of your trailer for Cop Out. And I was like, what? And all of a sudden, I realized TV spots were running. Then TV spots ran during the Grammys. Then during Lost. And we're a month out from the movie coming out. Now, I stand here with like 3.5 weeks till the movie hits theaters. There is more awareness for this movie now than there was for Zack and Miri the day we opened. You know, Seth Rogen told me the fucking perfect story that it really kind of summed up the release of Zack and Miri. He's like, I went in a meltdown on Saturday after the movie opened. And the guy behind the counter was just like, hey man, when's that porno movie coming out? And he's going, if a fucking comic book dealer in a comic book store doesn't know when a Kevin Smith movie's coming out, somebody fucked up, didn't they? I was like, you're absolutely right. Nobody fucks up on this movie, man. Warner Brothers, they're just like carpet bomb. Everybody's going to know this movie exists. And you may not want to see it, but you're going to fucking know it exists. You're going to be sick of Cop Out by the 26th because that's what they do. They just make you aware of it. They don't force you into the theater, trick you in the theater. They're just going to surround you with it and let you know that option's there and show you as much as possible to intrigue you into the theater. I come from a world of like bells and whistles and tricks and shit like that. And kind of like, let's trick them into the theater by doing this. Or let's beg them to come into the theater by kicking you out there and crying for them or something. You know, it's like, I mean, God, I love Miramax. Miramax kind of created me, and as much as when they picked up Clerks, they didn't have anybody in the movie to sell the movie. Like, you know, they couldn't be like, from Dante, from Brian O'Halloran, the man who, you know. So what they decided back then was like, we'll take the filmmakers and put them out front. So me, Quentin, Robert, shit, anybody came through Miramax, man. They put out on the stage. You were the star. So you began to speak for the movie and created this weird personality. Like, in addition, like me and Robert and Quentin got so fucking lucky. During the 80s, you don't know any directors' names, man. Like, directors were just dudes that got beat on by movie stars like Bruce Willis. Now, you know my name. You know Quentin's name. You know, it's like we can work with, like, we are entities unto ourselves. And, Quentin, way bigger name and shit, but you bring that to this soup, man, it's a kind of cool thing. Like, I get to walk in with a little bit of confidence, Like, couldn't approach this movie a couple years ago because I would have been like, I couldn't pull it off. I stay making Kevin Smith movies, not because that's the only movie I can make, because that's the easiest movie for me to make. Like, I can make a Kevin Smith movie in my sleep. I could go away from making Kevin Smith movies for 20 years, come back and make a Kevin Smith movie, because that's the only thing I know how to do. This was a test to see if I could do something else. And marrying that sensibility that I built up over 15 years to this, it turned into something kind of cool. I was happy about it.
You talked about your relationship with the Weinsteins ending. Did the marketing of Zack and Miri Make a Porno have to do with that?
It didn't help, that's for sure. I mean, look, they tried, but it's... Miramax back in the day, circa 94 to say 2000, perhaps a golden era of movie marketing. They figured out how to reinvent it. Even before 94, I go back to 92 Crying Game. It's just like they found a way to get you to go see medicine movies, for Christ's sakes. Who the fuck was going to go see the Crying Game? But they created something out of it, man. They're like, something's going to go on in this movie. There might be a dick, There's a dick in the movie, And so they were like the P.T. Barnums. They got us in and got us to watch movies that we never would have left the suburbs to go see, to a big city to go see and whatnot. And in doing so, necessity being the mother of invention, they didn't have a lot of money. They couldn't carpet bomb and just spend we're going to spend $30 million to make the movie and $50 million to open it. They don't do that kind of thing. Harvey's favorite thing to say is like, a studio's $40 million is my $10 million. In other words, he can take 10 and make it into what a studio will do for 40. So those cats kind of created this brand of movie marketing from 92 to 2000 that was completely unheard of, brand new, changed the game completely. They didn't go where the puck was. They went to where the puck was going to be. But, you can't be the top guy forever. The more you do it, the more people look at it. And so, look, when the Oilers exploded between 80 and 84, a lot of teams were like, Jesus Christ, what is happening? How is this happening? How can we stop this? With the advent of video, they just start watching games and going like, okay, so basically we just clog up the middle here. We can stop that Gretzky idiot. And then, Coffey's pretty fast. Let's beat him in the back. And, basically people can see the strings and the wires. I mean, brilliance is not brilliance. There's no such thing as brilliance that can't be understood, broken down, and probably taken for oneself as well. There's natural and innate brilliance like a Wayne Gretzky or something like that. But like when you start to break things down, you can really go like, it can kind of work. I think I can kind of get my head around it. And these cats created a marketing game that everybody else said, shit, let's do that. And they started doing it. And then the next move should have been, all right, let's create the next thing of marketing. Let's go where the puck's going to be. But instead, they just started puck chasing. So all of a sudden, the marketing just started to look like movie marketing, like studio marketing. And then oddly, studio marketing started to look more like Miramax marketing. So they both switched positions, but rather than take the next step going like, okay, well, fucking now they're playing my game, I'm going to play a third game. And they can chase me up here. Instead, they just like, all right, we're here now, let's just play here. And, it was better when everyone was trying really hard.
Richard Krause.